Right. And how does that interact for load management? Right. Because when we say, so we've seen this a lot, right? Where you're in an underground environment and say, we've got Wi-Fi there now, we got 5G now.
Yeah.
So now it's not 2 or 3 devices. It's hundreds of devices.
Absolutely.
And then, the analogy that I always use is that if you build it as a path, you can only support the amount of volume a path can support. But if you design it as a freeway, you're opening up a lot of bands for people, for people to join in and get access. So
exactly.
So how does that work with your technology as far as giving you the bandwidth or the capacity?
Well, you may have seen what we call the cross-sectional heat map that we actually have developed a simulator. And what the simulator does, it takes the dimensions of the tunnel, the roughness of the sides into account. And then at any given point in time, you can take a slice through the tunnel and you get a heat map, which shows you exactly how the different areas within that cross-section will be seen if you look at it as a receiver. So yes, absolutely. Multiple underground vehicles, personnel moving down the tunnel. There's various hotspots, so to speak, that will give them very good reception rather than just a single, let's say, vertically polarized wave that goes down the tunnel. The simulator actually shows very clearly the difference between vertical, horizontal, and then the circular polarized. We all plot it on the same graph.
Okay, no, I mean, and I guess in that, being that you're the vehicle of this connectivity, my guess is that your equipment is built to be agnostic of the backbone.
Very much so,
right?
Very much so. The antenna itself is totally router agnostic or backbone agnostic. So we are like that final bridge to get the electromagnetic wave from where it should go.
Yeah, so it really is the piece that makes it go, right?
Yeah,
because you can have, to your point, you can have the strongest backbone in the world, but if you don't have that last little bit that actually gives you the connectivity you need in your hand, it's very much a wasted technology, right?
Yeah, and as you and as you probably know, the within a mining operation, the most of the underground vehicles are mobile, so there's no wired connection to that, so they rely on a reliable wireless connection back to the control room. So the control room nowadays are monitoring each and every spot underground as well as open pit. We've just moving into some serious above ground open pit antennas as well.
Okay.
And some of the recent testing that's been done by an integrating company in South Africa seems very, very promising. They deploy networks throughout Africa, and these are looking very promising, the results that's coming from those.
Yeah, that's great. And it's not only static installations you do. Like you've got static installations, but you also have mobile installations. I've seen it on barges and ships and trucks and so on. So what does that look like for a moving vehicle that's got an antenna attached to it?
Well, of course, as you quite rightly say, the static antennas, and the static antennas, of course, creates an area where the moving vehicle is going to move. So yes, we have antennas that goes onto the mining truck as well. We've got, as far as marine is concerned, we have marine antennas, and these of course causes that connectivity. It promotes that connectivity between whichever fixed wireless access there is on land or at sea, as far as our sea antennas are concerned, and that of course gives the mobility capability. If you look at, for instance, at autonomous vehicles nowadays underground, they need a constant real-time connection back to the control room, so much so that any disruption in that real-time connection, the truck will actually stop,
right?
For just to make sure that there's no collision problem underground, that type of thing.
Yeah, and then you could see how you could just imagine how critical that would be. You don't want a truck to go 50 feet, stop, 50 feet, stop.
Exactly.
Because then your entire vehicle will just degrade that much
Absolutely.
sooner. Like that connectivity is imperative. So as far as like, we all know that, you've got really good connection that's available, and then you got no connection, and a lot of organizations are plagued with that gray area.
Absolutely.
So how do you address, so for people that are listening in, how do you address those gray areas to make sure that they've got quality of service throughout their entire infrastructure?
I think it comes down to planning, because typically, if a gray area exists, that is really where antennas comes into its own. Okay. The guys in charge of RF engineering within the mine, they will know that where those gray areas exist, and then it's simply a question of moving an antenna into that area with the right radiation pattern that'll cover that area, so that that gray area is no longer a gray area.